I'm bringing you a super raw, super live, breaking Switch Force report on a brand new Splatoon game that was just announced for Switch 2. You're going to think I'm absolutely crazy in making this up, but I promise you, a brand new Splatoon game was just announced for Switch 2, and it's called Splatoon Raiders. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. Just got a new baby kitten, a little brother for Bowser, so been sleeping on the floor with him, and now Bowser needs mass attention as soon as I'm out here, so I'm trying to deal with two cats, which meant I was up very early, which meant that I had the opportunity to see that Nintendo just did kind of the unthinkable. They kind of just did something crazy that nobody expected, which is announce the next first-party Switch 2 game out of nowhere in the early AM on the Nintendo Today app. That app is bonkers because it's housing major announcements that typically would be in Nintendo Directs, and then it's just on the app and not really anywhere else. That's why I have to bring it to you right away, because Splatoon Raiders is real. This is a single-player Splatoon game that is a spin-off for the series for the very first time. Now, if I told you that the morning after I made my 100 hours with Switch 2 full review, talking about can't wait for the next Switch 2 announcements, that we would see it the next morning and it would be via the app completely without any fanfare or hype, I would say you're crazy. But this is Splatoon Raiders single player. We know very little. It looks like the gameplay is quite similar. It involves you playing a mechanic on the Spiralite Islands and you're investigating something strange alongside Deep Cut. So this is pretty cool. We're getting the Deep Cut music group from Splatoon 3 in here, and we're getting a mechanic, a new character, and it does look like it's similar-ish gameplay, like we're seeing the typical Splatoon-style gameplay, but what to me looks like a much more cinematic focus. Now, they're saying that research is still underway, which is the Splatoonese version of saying like it's still deep in development. So I don't think this game is coming out. Well, it's definitely not coming out this year. Maybe not even 2026. I don't know how far off this is. Although, based on when they're announcing it, I would say this is probably a 2026 game. You're probably looking at one of the 2026 titles for Switch 2. And what's weird here is they're opting to not go for a multiplayer title. You would think that Splatoon 4 would be their go-to, their calling card, because multiplayer is the way that most people play Splatoon, and it's one of the few multiplayer franchises that Nintendo has that is centered around online, that's centered around a bunch of players, and that can captivate that type of audience, kind of like Mario Kart World. Yet Nintendo is going a different route and kind of bridging the gap between Splatoon 3 and 4 with this single-player experience. And I love that they're using Splatoon as a breeding ground for new exciting things. You know, we had the roguelite mode come to Splatoon 3 via DLC, and now we're getting this new single-player spin-off. And I do think that Splatoon 4 will come to Switch 2. Like, don't worry. If you're a big Splatoon multiplayer fan and you're fearing that this is replacing Splatoon 4, I don't think that's how I view it at all. I think Splatoon 4 will need to be a substantial overhaul after 2 and 3 were pretty similar, and so they're going to do this in the meantime to bring you a gorgeous looking game. Like, even from the screenshots you can tell this game is going to pop with the lighting, it's going to pop with the colors, it's going to pop with all the ink and the liquids, and it's going to look amazing on Switch 2. And it's not just Splatoon Raiders, because Splatoon 3 is getting its Switch 2 boost. Now, this is very interesting and impressive because, hey, this would have been one to announce before the system came out, right? I think they would have really liked to let people know about this. But coming on June 12th, which is just 2 freaking days away, Splatoon 3 is getting the Switch 2 upgrade for free with better visuals, better frame rate, 30 new weapon kits, cross-platform play with Switch 1, Urchin Underpass, and new stat tracking features. So that is a very huge get, another free upgrade, and Nintendo going the great route, like going not the, hey, let's charge you and nickel and dime you for everything route, but going for, hey, we're going to make the game a really popular game, a really big game, one that we could easily charge for. And it's not getting like huge DLC, right? It's not getting like the Kirby treatment. It's not getting the Mario Party Jamboree treatment, but it's getting more of like the Zelda treatment, dare I say? And yet it's free. Better visuals, frame rate, cross-platform play, 30 new weapon kits. Like, this sounds like good stuff for a free upgrade. And I'm glad that Splatoon 3 is getting this so soon, in less than 3 days. Like, you're going to have another upgrade. The system launched 1 week later, Nintendo is on it. I think that's huge to show their commitment to this system. I think it's huge to show their desire to make this system just reliable, relentless, right? You keep having new things to play and even ways to experience your old things again. And if you haven't picked up Splatoon 3 or you haven't really dove in, now's an awesome time to really immerse yourself, because not only are you getting the Switch 2 upgrade, you're getting Splatoon Raiders. And again, I just wanted to double state how insane it is that Nintendo just dropped their big new game in the Splatoon franchise out of nowhere. Who needs a direct when you're just going to come at it with a random game announcement today, 5 days after the Switch 2 launch? Now, maybe this is why some leakers were thinking there was a Nintendo Switch 2 Direct the week of the Switch 2 launch or the week after, because they had heard some scuttlebutt from the seas of Splatoon Raiders washing ashore. Now, I absolutely think if you heard about a new Splatoon spin-off game being announced exclusive for Switch 2, that you would think, hey, there's a Nintendo Direct coming. And yet there's not. There's no Nintendo Direct, but there is Splatoon 3 getting the upgrade, and there's Splatoon Raiders. And this makes me wonder, like, how is Nintendo going to go about announcing things this generation? Are they really going to mix it up? Like, is Splatoon Raiders just a one-off because it's still within the launch week of Switch 2? Is Splatoon Raiders going to be the trend? Are they going to just start dropping random stuff at random times without needing a Direct? In some ways that devalues the Directs, but in some ways it makes life totally crazy and exciting. Like, at any moment, we could get a new Switch 2 exclusive announcement. Could they just say, hey, the next Smash Bros. Spinoff is coming to Switch 2. Hey, the next Animal Crossing game is coming to Switch 2. Do we not need a big presentation anymore to announce a game? And I'm starting to think that Nintendo is going to do more stealth drops of this nature, and they're going to do more just like random, hey, popping up now, here we go. Now, the counterpoint to that and the other side of the coin is Splatoon has always been kind of a weird one. They do these research lab reports. They have guys come out in their, science trench coats. They kind of like to operate in a much more quirky, weird way. The team just seems to love innovation. The team seems to love being different. The team seems to love being bold, and that's evidenced by where they're taking Splatoon to another new direction. I wonder if maybe this is something that they're just testing out with Splatoon, or maybe it's specifically because they wanted to announce the Splatoon 3 Switch 2 upgrade, and so they thought, hey, let's tack on this brand new Splatoon game. But it's funny because this would be a major moment. Like, I think Splatoon Raiders could be a closer for a Nintendo Direct, and yet we're just getting it today. But hey, I'm not complaining. We now know about another Switch 2 first-party exclusive, and to me, it's the next most exciting after, if we're talking strictly Switch 2 exclusives. So I'm throwing out Metroid Prime 4, I'm throwing out Pokemon Legends ZA. It's like DK Bonanza is huge, and then Splatoon Raiders is pretty darn sick. Like, I don't know what else. I think Splatoon Raiders is above Hyrule Warriors. I think Splatoon Raiders is above, obviously, the Jamboree expansion and the Kirby Forbidden Land expansion. I think Splatoon Raiders right now, since we've seen gameplay and we've seen screenshots and we know about the franchise and what they've done lately, to me it's above Kirby's Air Riders. But hey, Sakurai, you go off, you do your craziness, you make that thing sing, you make that thing purr, and I'm here for it. I want all the games to be amazing, obviously, and can't wait because that one is this year. Splatoon Raiders definitely is not this year. I'm going to get back to cat duty. I got a big cat who's feeling jealous, and I got a baby cat who's probably crying because I had to leave him while we were cuddling and while he was purring soft asleep. So I'm going to go do that. You let me know your thoughts on Splatoon Raiders in the comments down below. A freaking Switch 2 exclusive announced, in a big one on a random Tuesday morning. Gotta love it here in the world of Switch 2. So thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Until next time, everybody, thanks again for watching. Switch Force out.